Time for a bathroom movie review and action. Star Wars is back in theaters, everyone. No, it's not a new film. No, and you should know that. And while I know many people are gonna wanna force choke me because of this next statement, this is one of my favorite Star Wars films to rewatch. Yes, I'm talking about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And remember, if you are not with me, then you are my enemy. I have been so excited to see this film in theaters again. This movie came out when I was just 11, and it is one of the only films that I've seen in theaters 4 times. Well, now 5. And this movie is what turned me into a Star Wars fan and a huge lightsaber fanatic. But as a boy, I totally don't have a bunch of lightsabers in my garage and in my room as a man. That's ridiculous. That'd just be weird. Now, I know every movie has its flaws, and this one definitely has its fair share, and I definitely noticed a lot more as an adult, so let's get into it. This film is George Lucas's 3rd Star Wars film in the prequel trilogy, and sadly the last Star Wars movie George Lucas would ever direct. It follows the ongoing Clone Wars between the Separatists and the Republic, and follows our 2 favorite heroes, Obi-Wan and Anakin. The film mostly centers around Anakin Skywalker as he's seeking to get more power, to save his wife from possibly dying, and really just to satiate his thirst for power. Satiate. Is that a word? I think so. I am smart, so me only speaks smart words. Yes, the CGI in this film is getting dated, more and more so every time I watch it. But there are times it looks amazing still. But the one thing I don't get is the times they decide to use CGI. Like near the beginning when Anakin and Obi-Wan approached Count Dooku to fight him, there's a part where Count Dooku's just standing there looking at him, and it pans out, and all of a sudden his face is full-on PS2 CGI. And then after that, when the ship is crashing down to Coruscant, Anakin's landing half a ship, when it thuds to a stop, out of nowhere, you see Anakin's face, and he lurches forward when it comes to a stop. Straight up CGI on his face, because, why not? I guess they were just so excited about CGI, the special effects team was like, hey, do it now at this random spot, and I bet no one will ever notice. As an adult, there are still a lot of things I love about this film. I love the dopey droids in this movie and their funny commentary.
Drop your weapon. I said drop them. Roger.
I love classic characters like R2-D2 showing up and saving the day at times, or even the few glimpses we get of Chewbacca. I love that this film shows Jedi used to be intimidating and use the Force in awesome ways. Backflips, Force jump, epic lightsaber battles. And okay, yeah, I've heard the argument. Well, in Disney's new trilogy, the Jedi are gone, no one was there to train them, so it makes sense why they're not that great at fighting. And to that I say, sure, that works for Rey, even though she mystically was great at everything, I guess. What about Kylo Ren? He was trained by Luke Skywalker for years, and Luke Skywalker was trained by Obi-Wan, and then by Yoda for years. So yeah, I'm not buying that with Kylo Ren. George Lucas knew how to make amazing lightsaber battles. That's all there is to it. Or he hired the right people to choreograph it. So yeah, get out of here with your logic. Bye, logic. Woo! Just think about some of the fights in this film. Yoda versus Palpatine still makes my spine tingle, even if Yoda does look more like a video game character as each year goes by. And Anakin versus Obi-Wan, still number 1 for me. Best lightsaber battle there is. That battle represents what love is. Passion, fighting, getting your limbs cut off by someone you love because, brothers. And another critique that I think is dumb from a lot of fans is they say Anakin and Obi-Wan use so many unnecessary moves while fighting. At one point Anakin's just doing like a Polynesian fire knife thing behind his back with a lightsaber, like this. Pretty close. But to that I say, who cares? It looks awesome! This is not a World War II movie. This is not a documentary. This is Star Wars. They're fighting with light sticks and you want to talk about realism? Okay, but in all seriousness, I get it to a point. When movies get too silly with the action or certain concepts, it can be annoying. But in this situation, it did not reach the high bar of complete silliness. It looked cool because it was cool. It was so cool that at 11 years old, I wanted to be just like Anakin and go kill some younglings. One complaint I do have is Mace Windu and the Jedi Masters fighting Palpatine. Yeah, I'm sure most of you know what I'm about to say, and I'm sure most of you would agree. You got this Sith Lord, you've got Mace Windu, who we see is super powerful, 3 other Jedi Masters. I don't know if they just thought they weren't going to have enough budget to finish the movie, or if the stuntman was out, or the choreographer was out. But what is this? Palpatine just kills all 3 Jedi Masters in like 10 seconds. Or does it go deeper than that? Maybe the Jedi Masters were just frozen in fear from the Force. Oh snap! Is that a real Sith Lord? He's using Force Freeze power on me! I cannot fight back. I just don't get it. Alright, let's talk about Anakin for a bit. The guy has issues, but the guy's also cool. And a lot of people at the time said Hayden Christensen could not act. And I get where they're coming from, but Ahsoka and newer shows have proved that wrong. I will say I am split with his personality though. Because, you know, he's got a split personality, it seems like. One day he's a full-fledged Jedi, the next, you know, he's killing younglings. A lot can happen in a day. But what I'm split about is, in the live-action movies, yes, it kind of makes sense how he turned bad. Felt kind of rushed, but he definitely seems mentally unhinged at times. He's really awkward in episode 2. He straight up kills women and children, sand people. And somehow Padme doesn't realize he's a mass murderer, serial killer at that point. But I really liked his character in the Clone Wars show. He's more of that leader, cool guy that everybody wants to be like. And in a way, that makes it all the more sad and crushing when he goes down this dark path. But yeah, I mean, I get both. The movies definitely help it make sense with the unhinged part. But the movie definitely makes sense with how brooding he is and how easily manipulated he is by Palpatine. So, Anakin's relationship with Padme. You are so beautiful. It's only because I'm so in love. No, it's because I'm so in love with you. Annie. I mean, as a kid, I thought this was such deep dialogue. His love was so pure, and it makes it so much sadder when Palpatine easily manipulates him. Speaking of easily manipulated, Anakin is weak. I mean, Palpatine says things like, Anakin, the Council would make a mistake if they did not choose you for the job. Yeah, my plan is working. And then the next scene, the Council doesn't appreciate your talents. Yes, the seed of the dark side is planted. Or, can anyone learn this power? Not from a Jedi. I am so sneaky. Oh, and let's not forget the best one. I can't kill him. It's not the Jedi way. Do it. Okay. And in a lot of the movie, the dialogue is not great. I mean, can we agree on that? I mean, I get the romance stuff is bad, but there's some lines like this, for example. Palpatine says to Anakin, Anakin, I need your help. And immediately Anakin answers with what? I don't understand. Dude, what don't you understand? He hasn't even told you yet. What is there to not understand? Yeah, I'm being picky. It doesn't actually bother me that much. I just think it's funny to point out. But Anakin's downfall, man, that hits hard. From one moment, he's saying, what have I done? After he assists in killing Mace Windu. And then 30 seconds later, he's calling Palpatine Master. To 5 minutes later, killing a bunch of younglings. Because, you know, to save his wife and future kids, you gotta sacrifice some kids. But it's seriously so dark. It just leaves you with your mouth hanging open going, why? Anakin, you're the chosen one. All in all, I still love this movie. Sure, a lot of it might be nostalgia, but it's still an epic story. Great fights, super depressing ending, but one that leads into the next trilogy that's one of the best of all time, which started off this whole amazing franchise. But I do have to score this based off overall quality, and I can't just score it off my emotions, which want to give this a 10 because it's my childhood. So I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. I know, I'm being that guy, half a point. Because the cool legendary parts want me to give it an 8 or higher, but the bad dialogue and cheesiness at times make me want to give it a 7. But either way, we are not flushing this one. Here you go, Vader Tater. And remember, may the Force be with you. You will subscribe to my channel.